Today we are going to discuss a very important article of National Electric Code NFPA 70 2026 edition. That is Article 242. Article 242 is basically all about our voltage protection system or our voltage protection device. So Article 242 is basically subdivided into three parts. Number one, part one, that is basically describes the selection, installation, grounding, and the performance requirements of the surge protection device or surge arrestor. Part 2 basically covers the surge protection devices permanently installed in the electrical premises wiring system for voltage less than 1000 volt AC or 1500 volt DC nominal. And part 3 is all about and covers the surge arresters that is permanently installed in the electrical premises wiring system for voltage greater than 1000 volt AC nominal. This is all about the scope of this article, that is 242.1. Now we are going to discuss 242.2, that is mandatory listing. It tells us about that the surge protection device that is less than 1000 volt AC or 1500 volt DC nominal shall be mandatorily listed. It's section 242.3 tells us about the refurbishment or reconditioned equipment, such that the surge protection device or surge arresters must not be used in a refurbished or reconditioned state, and it should always or must always be used with the factory new equipment or surge arrestor or surge protection device. So when it comes to part 2, that is surge protection devices less than 1000 volt DC, 1000 volt AC or 1500 volt DC nominal. So in part 2, section 242.8, which tells us about the surge protection devices must be listed with short circuit current rating, such that the short circuit current rating of the surge protection devices must never be less than the available short circuit current of the system where it is to be installed. So it also tells us that the surge protection devices shall never be used for voltage greater than 1000 volt AC. Number 2, surge protection devices shall never be used where its voltage rating is less than the nominal voltage rating of the system where it is to be installed. So when it comes to 242.9, that is all about status indication. Such protection devices must have a clear state or indication that it is function properly, such that if it is a green indication, then it is its health is okay. But if it's a red indication, so we can say it's not okay or might be any problem. So when it comes to 242.13, it tells us about the surge protection devices. There are 4 types of surge protection devices. Number 1 is type 1, number 2 is type 2 SPD, number 3 is type 3 SPD, and type 4 SPD. So 242.13 tells us about the type 1 SPD. Such type of SPDs are installed between utility transformer and main circuit breaker, that is on the line side. And when it comes to type 2 SPDs, that is it installed on the load side, or we can say the load side disconnecting or current protection devices, such as motor control centers, switchboards, panels, and distribution panels. When it comes to 242.14, 16, that is type 3 SPDs. Such type of SPDs are installed in branch circuits of first hour current protection devices, that is installed closer to the equipments, like we have VFDs, sensitive equipments, PLCs and other equipments, but it must have a distance of 10 meters from the service equipment. When it comes to for type 4 SPDs, it is 242.18. Type 4 SPDs basically components assemblies that is installed by the equipment manufacturers. So now when it comes to 242.20, it tells us about the number of requirement, that is the such protection devices must cover all grounded conductors, such that for three-phase systems, both for all red, yellow and blue, must have a separate such protection device. Now when it comes to 242.22, it tells us about the location of the surge protection device. The surge protection device can be installed both indoor or outdoor, but it can be inaccessible to the unqualified persons unless or otherwise specifically listed for such application. So example of such type of such protection device location is any such protection devices that is installed in the locked electrical panel room. So when it comes to 242.24, it tells us about the conductor routing. The such protection devices conductor both from line and for ground shall always be straight and free from any bend or loop, and should always be used as lowest as possible route or minimum cable, because if the cable's length increases, then its resistance also increases. So for increasing resistance, the effectiveness of the loop decreases, so that the surge protection devices at the point of surge cannot be performed well, or we can say there might be some damage to the system because of the ineffectiveness of the loop. So when it comes to 242.28, it tells us about the conductor sizing. So surge protection devices must always be used a minimum of, we can say, 14 American wire gauge for copper and for 12 American wire gauge for aluminum conductor. So when it comes to 242.30, it tells us about the connection between conductor. So it defines that the surge arrestor is basically connected between phase to phase, phase to neutral, neutral to ground, and phase to ground. So when it comes to 242.32, it tells us about the grounding and bounding requirements of the surge protection devices. So this always comply with the grounding requirements defined in Article 250 Part 3. So it meets the NEC compliant requirements. Now we are going to discuss Part 3 of Article 242. Basically, Part 3 covers surge arresters installed permanently in the electrical premises wiring system that is greater than 1000 volt AC nominal. Such type of surge arresters are installed in medium and high voltage systems, such as we have distribution utility system, or we can say substations, transformers, and industrial power systems. So these are part 3 are also divided into different sections. When it comes to 242.40, that is uses not permitted. So the surge arrestor must not be installed where the voltage rating of surge arrestor is less than the maximum continuous phase to ground voltage of the system. Let's say we have a system of 13.8 kilovolt, and we have a rating of surge arrestor is around 10 kilovolt. So we cannot install this surge arrestor in the 13.8 kilovolt system, because its voltage rating is less than the defined voltage of the system. Now, when it comes to 242.42, it tells us about the surge arrestor rating. The surge arrestor's duty cycle rating must always be greater than equal to 1.25 times the maximum continuous operating voltage. Let's say we have a system again of 13.8 kilovolt. For solidly grounded system, we have to divide this 13.8 kV by under root 3, then we will get 7.97. So we have to multiply 7.97 kV to 1.25 and we will get 9.96 kV. So we have to install surge arrestor that is greater than 9.96 kV. Let's say we can install 10 kilowatt surge arrestor, or we can install 12 kilowatt surge arrestors. So if we discuss about ungrounded systems, then for the same system of 13.8 kilovolt, we have to multiply phase-to-phase voltage of 13.8 kilovolt to 1.25. So we will get around 17.67 kV. So we have to select surge arrestor for ungrounded system greater than this 17.97 kV. So we have to use 18 kilowatt surge arrestor or greater than it. Now when it comes to 242.44, it tells us about the numbers such that surge arrestors required and covers each ungrounded system. Let's say for phase to ground we have to use 2 surge arrestors for phase and for neutral, and for 3-phase system like phase red, yellow, blue, we have to use a separate surge arrestor to each phase. So when it comes to 242.46, it tells us about the location. The surge arrestor must always or can be installed indoor or outdoor, but it cannot be or we can say accessible. It cannot be accessible to unqualified person unless specifically listed for such applications. So if we gonna give an example is for that is the surge arrestor that is installed in switch yard rooms, or we can say surge arrestor that are installed in log switchgear room. So when it comes to 242.48, that tells us about the conductor routing. The surge arrestors cables used for both line and for grounding, or specifically for grounding, shall always be straight, as short as possible, and free from any bands and loop. Because if there are loops or unnecessary cable, then it increases the resistance of the loop. So the effectiveness of the surge arrestors is decreasing. So always consider that the cable is used as short as possible, shall always be straight, and should not have any bend. So when it comes to 242.50, it tells us about the conductor size. The conductor used for surge arrestors is 6 American wire gauge for both copper and aluminum. When it comes to 242.52, it tells us about the interconnection between surge arrestors and transformers. So if there are basically 3 methods defined. Number 1, direct contact, or we can say direct metal contact. In such applications like direct contact, the surge arrestor secondary, basically the surge arrestor grounding and the transformers secondary is connected at the same piping system. So we can say underground water piping system, so that both have the same potential and any or we can say results in any unwanted increase of the voltage. So such type of application or grounding reduces the risk of any inadvertent generation of the voltage. Other way is to use multi-ground neutral systems, like we have utility transformer multi-grounding systems. So we have to use at least 4 grounding points in 1 mile of the length. The second method is spark gap. In such method, both surge arrestor grounding and transformer secondary neutral grounding are not directly connected, but there is a gap between that we call it spark gap, where we use a metal oxide semiconductor that comes in action when there is any surge strikes. So it safely diverted the surge into the ground. So the third method is when both these two methods are not appropriate, then this method, that is a special permissions are required, and for a special case there is a permission required for engineering approval from authority having jurisdiction. So this type of method is used for special applications, like we have a special utility system, or we can say offshore oil and gas rig. So when it comes to 2.54, that is we have that tells us about grounding requirements. So that the grounding of the surge arresters meets the requirements of the Article 250, so that it will be we can say compliant of NEC standards defined in to Article 250. So that's it from part 3 of the Article 242, where we have discussed some important points regarding the installation and the connection of the surge arrestor. Thank you.